You're gonna get spanked with violations.
A detective's job. Characters and descriptions. Tracy. Tracy is a girl that is 8 years old. She has brown, curly hair and big green eyes. She is very curious about anything and anyone. Mrs. K. Mrs. K is Tracy's mom. She has black hair and blue eyes. She works at a hospital as a nurse. She usually has worked for 24 hours, 5 days in a week. Mr. K. Mr. K is Tracy's dad. He has brown hair and brown eyes. He works as a construction worker in a very good construction company. Nicole. Nicole is Tracy's older sister. She is 4 years older than Tracy. That means she's 12. She has black hair like her mom, and her eyes are a grayish-blue shade of color. Callie. Callie is Tracy's best friend. Her hair is as orange as an orange, and she has big, happy green eyes and a ton of freckles. Just like Tracy, she is 8 years old. Johnny. Johnny is a little 4-year-old. He is Callie's brother. He has blonde hair, not one freckle, and icy blue eyes. He is super energetic and can be gone in a wink of an eye. He looks super cute, although he could get slightly annoying. Mrs. Moto. Mrs. Moto is Tracy's 2nd grade teacher. She has blonde hair that is always in a nice bun. Her eye color is brown and she has glasses. The glasses she wears are connected to a beaded chain that wraps around her neck. Narrator. A person who reads the parts in a story that aren't dialogue. Said description. School. Tracy goes to a school that looks like it survived an earthquake. Barely. It has walls out of bricks and paint that's peeling very well. Home. Tracy lives in a 1-story house. It has 7 rooms. When you look at the house from the outside, it is the color of a dark, dark peach. Car. Tracy's family owns a white Lexus. They won it in a lottery. It is one of the settings when Mrs. K is driving Nicole and Tracy to school. On the street. Tracy is walking home from school. Tracy's house. Scene 1. One day, there was a little 8-year-old named Tracy. She had curly brown hair and happy green eyes. She was on her way to school in her family's new white Lexus.
Mom, did you ever go to school?
Asked Tracy.
Yes.
Mrs. K answered.
But wasn't it boring, jail?
Tracy asked. The word boring sounded like she was singing, first high, then low.
Here we are.
Mrs. K said.
Finally, I thought we'd I thought this trip would never end.
Said Nicole grumpily. She took off her headphones and stepped out of the car.
Bye, Mom. Bye, honey.
Tracy cried. Mrs. K cried back. Scene 2. The setting in Tracy's school.
Good morning, class. Good morning, Miss Moto.
The class said, Miss Moto was a 2nd grade teacher that had blonde hair that was always in a nice bun.
Today we will learn about detectives,
said Mrs. Moto. A murmur ran across the class.
What is that?
Tracy asked.
Listen and you will know,
Mrs. Moto said. So Mrs. Moto told the kids everything she knew about detectives. Ring! Went the final bell.
Okay, kids, line up to go home.
Mrs. Moto said.
Yay!
The kids cried. It felt like there was an earthquake. Mrs. Moto pushed her glasses into the place into place and dismissed the class. Tracy found her family's car and ran to it. Scene 3. The setting, home. When Mr. K came home, the family had dinner.
Tracy, I have a surprise for you.
Mrs. K said.
What is it?
Tracy
It's a chocolate bar.
Mrs. Moto said.
Woohoo!
Tracy cried. She took the chocolate bar into her hands and put it into the fridge. Scene 4. Setting on the street. After school, Tracy had to walk home because her mom was at an emergency job.
Get out of here.
Her dad was also at work, and Nicole was at her friend's house. Tracy's friend, Callie, caught up with her.
Hi.
Callie said. She was always happy. She had orange hair and happy green eyes. Just like Tracy, she was 8.
Hi.
Tracy said back.
Hey, wanna come to my house?
Tracy said.
Sure, but I gotta bring my brother with me.
She said.
Okay, fine with me.
Tracy answered back. Scene 5. Setting. Tracy's house. Tracy was getting everything ready when she heard a knock on the door. It was Callie and her brother, Johnny.
Hi guys, come in.
Tracy said. The two stepped inside.
I want to eat.
Johnny whined.
Shush, you've eaten at home.
Callie said. Just then her stomach grumbled.
See, you're hungry too.
Johnny said.
Ah, you little.
She couldn't finish because Tracy cut her off by screaming.
Stop! We can share my chocolate bar. It's in the fridge.
She said, walking up to the fridge. She opens it and finds no chocolate bar. Then she starts to panic.
Well, what are we gonna do?
We will play detective.
Callie said, smiling. So the kids played detective and followed clues and came to a conclusion. Nicole took the chocolate and ate it.
What are we gonna do now? We've gotta call an attorney or something.
She looked as pale as white paint.
No, none of that.
Callie cried.
Just tell your mom. Ugh, duh.
Johnny says.
Okay, that's just what I'll do.
Tracy said. Scene 6. Setting at the dinner table.
So, how was your day today?
Mr. K said.
Fine.
Tracy said as she poked
You
at
look
her
a
beans.
little gloomy.
He said.
No, I'm fine.
She said.
Okay.
Mrs. K started.
Tracy, would you be a dear and share your chocolate bar with us?
No,
Tracy
Why
answered.
not?
She
because Nicole ate it.
Tracy said sternly. Nicole turned red.
What?
Mrs. K cried.
It was so good.
Nicole said.
It just melted in my mouth.
So for that, Nicole had to buy Tracy a new chocolate bar with her allowance. The end.